What's going on, YouTube? Today, I got a story time for y'all, and this will be a story about the time one of my friends, who I could say I knew fairly well, this is a story about the time he got robbed. I was at my buddy's house, Randall. Randall isn't his real name, but for the sake of the video, we're going to use fake names for all the characters in the story. Now, I'm no longer in contact with anyone else in this story, so I don't know if they're going to feel comfortable using their real names and locations, so I'm just going to fill it in with some improv. So when I was going on 19, maybe 20, I was suffering from addiction. And it wasn't the kind of addiction where I'm addicted to white powder type of thing. This is the substance abuse addiction of marijuana. Still, at the end of the day, addiction will always be a disease, and you should talk about it with people to better understand your addiction and find a way out. So Randall and I go way back to the days of trying to scheme for the cheapest dollar amount possible. And if you're new to this kind of thing, let me break it down that scheming is just a means to get high. By any means possible. If we had nothing to do that night, we were going to get so high on whatever we could find. Behind the seats, old roaches in the ashtray. I mean anything. It didn't even matter what time of day. I remember 1 a.m. my boy Randall just got off work and was like, "Yo, you want to blow down this joint my coworker hooked me up with?" I would have been ecstatic. I would have been kicking my feet in the air with my tummy on the bed like a kid at his first crush at school. Me and Randall at the time lived close to one another. I mean a pebble toss throw, and I'm at his house. And on this day in particular, it's one of those hot California summer days. The heat can already drive you pretty nuts if you don't have a working AC. And Randall had always been a solid dude. He knew my family and I knew his. You could even call us best friends on the outside looking in, right? Okay, so on this hot summer day, I'm chilling at my parents' house. Now at this time, I didn't have a job or anything like that, so my scheming rates were higher than normal. I was trying to get high from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, baby. Real Bobby Brown shit. So I'm chilling playing video games or whatever the fuck I was doing, when all of a sudden, I see Randall on my phone and he's calling me. So I pick up the phone. "Yo, Randall, what's up?" And Randall's talking to me. He's inviting me to come over for the house, you know. He says he's got the boys together and we're gonna go for a swim. Now, you guys as the audience should know that my parents also had a house with a pool. But Randall's backyard, I guess you could say, was optimized for these kind of occasions. He had the big countertop in the back with a jacuzzi. The whole thing was just bitchin', alright? So Randall invites me to come over, and I'm thinking, okay, there's no way if I say yes that we aren't gonna be smoking till 1 a.m. So I accept. I get to get my fix, the boys get to link up, blah blah blah, solid plans, right? Well, when I get there, let's just say there's this guy in the group, and this guy's not a major problem to anyone else in the group, but me and this guy don't really get along by ourselves. For example, to put you in my shoes for a second, if this guy was greeting everyone in front of me that just walked into the room, and he shakes everyone's hand and looks them in the eye and says, "Hey, it's good to see you, it's been too long, yada yada, banter." But mysteriously, when it's your turn to shake this guy's hand, he uses his left hand. He hasn't done this for anyone else. But he shakes my hand with his left hand, and he doesn't look me in the eye. Now again, I am from the suburbs. I don't live the most gang-style type of life. But on my mother's side, I'm from central Los Angeles. So if another man daps you up with the left hand, he's letting you know he doesn't fuck with you. And if a man doesn't look you in the eye either while you walk into a room, he doesn't fuck with you. Now, my grandmother would say that a man like that would cut the rope if you were dangling for your life over a cliff. So with that in mind, I'm walking into Randall's backyard and immediately I see the guy. We're gonna call this guy Darius. Darius sees me and I see him, but he doesn't make eye contact, and as soon as I approach the group with hands up to greet Randall, he gives me his right hand, and this other guy, we're gonna call him Richie. Richie gives me his right hand too. And when it comes to Darius, he hands me the left. Okay, cool. So Darius isn't in a good mood today for whatever fucking reason. I'm just here to get in the pool and swim, smoke with my boys, and leave. Okay? So I'm sitting down at the counter watching Randall roll up a joint that I knew came from our other homie, John. John is basically a walking Whole Foods for marijuana. John wasn't moving like a normal stoner, you see. No, not like me or you. John is a businessman. And you know, the type to really go out there and get it for himself. You know, a go-getter, if you will. Which, for all intensive purposes, I have respect for. If you're going to sell drugs, I think you're like our community's Willy Wonka. You have a product that people love and you're giving them the product, and all of this can happen because it's the United States, I guess. Hell, shit. Jay-Z did it, why can't John? Okay? See, John, what he specialized in was concentrates. But really, he had anything you could have ever wanted. Pounds, those nerd rope gummies. He had a crap load of THC on him at all times. Now, if you don't know what concentrates are, to dumb it down for you, because I didn't finish school, concentrates form pressing in the nug of weed plant down to paper essentially, and taking its gooey insides to put inside the vape pen where it's all ready to smoke. Now, originally, I didn't know John was going to be here swimming with the boys, but when John comes through in a setting for the homies, my heart starts pounding. Not because I was gay for John, no, but because I knew if John was there, I was about to be the highest I've ever been for the free ski. So I'm in the cut, I'm about to get in the pool, we're all gonna go for a swim. And then John says he's got an order to fulfill, which is like normal since it's his job, you know, John's a businessman. Hey, John's gonna go do business. I think we played a game in the pool or something when John left. Maybe it was chicken. We played chicken or Marco Polo, just some fun game in the pool. We played in the pool for about 20 minutes and we haven't heard a thing from John. He said he would be right around the corner, and it's been too long, we're starting to have our doubts. When at the peak of our worrying, we see John walk through the side gate into the back patio. He's frantic, right? He's shaking. So John's trying to explain what happened, and he gets the words out of his mouth, revolver. So these guys that had basically just robbed my friend here talked to him over Snapchat to link up. Told him that they were looking to buy some stizzies. Cool. John had a lot of stizzies on him. John buys things wholesale. So these guys link up with John through this social media app, and they go to this place that's a block away from Randall's house. So John's down there a block away, and it's been about 40 minutes. So these guys pull up and meet John at this unnamed location. John's like, what do you want? Without communication, these two guys draw down on my boy John here with a Smith & Wesson revolver to John's forehead and said, give me everything you have. Now, John is frantic. John doesn't know what to do here, but I know in John's heart, he wants to stay alive. See, John's a smart guy. He's not going to give his life up for some stizzies, right? So if a gun's in your face and these guys are begging for you to give them some THC, brother, the THC is not more important than your life. Thankfully, John understood that. So he gives them the boxes, then they get in their car, and then they drive off. John sees them drive off. John stands there for a moment in disbelief that he's still alive, gets in his car, comes back to Randall's, and then that's when John walks in the backyard. So John did happen to get just a little bit of information from the goons that had just robbed him, but all he knew for sure is that they came from Moreno Valley. And I remember John sitting there, and he honestly wasn't even that bothered. Later on, because of course I asked him, I said, dude, like, are you gonna be alright? They just took, like, all your fucking stash, and he was just like, fuck it, let him have it. And you know what's crazy enough? That comment from him was the realest shit I've ever heard him say. To this day, I think John gained like a zillion aura points that day, because ever since then, he's been so smart about business and whatnot, you have it. But after it's all said and done, my boy only lost some stizzy pods, and not his life. And to think how two goons figured it would be an okay idea to rob somebody in broad daylight, at gunpoint for anything, is insane. It's stupid, it's idiotic, and if you're willing to put others in unsafe situations, you're not only a danger to others, but you're also a danger to yourself. So yeah, that's the end of the story. See ya.